10 unexpectedly high-paying jobs. Handyman. A handyman's occupation doesn't simply solid exhausting yet additionally expects you to do things like unclog depletes and manage more oil than you may have found in your life. We're not saying there's anything humble about the occupation as it's as yet a reasonable day's worth of effort for a reasonable day's pay. In any case, it isn't something anybody fantasies about doing when they're young. If you investigate it, however, handymen gain much more than those in most different fields. Contrasted with the 2017 ostensible middle compensation for each capita of around $31,786 in the US, a handyman can procure somewhere in the range of $50,000 to $70,000 every year. That is just for the standard handymen who've as of late entered the field. The best 10% of handymen acquire more than $84,000 every year, all things considered. It might come as an amazement, however, plumbing isn't a simple field to enter. To begin with, you need to finish an apprenticeship that can keep going for 4 or 5 years. Oil rig worker. Taking a shot at a far-off oil rig is the specific inverse of an energizing position. You're stuck in no place for quite a long time, and the main testing part is by all accounts not kicking the bucket of boredom. Of course, that is just on the off chance that you haven't investigated applying for it. The individuals who have taken a shot at oil apparatuses would reveal to you that it pays well as requires dynamic suspecting and on-the-spot choice making. The normal compensation for oil rig faculty is someplace in the ballpark of $100,000 every year, and that is just for normal kind of work. In case you're higher in the order, like a boring advisor or a store engineer, it can go as high as $200,000. On the off chance that you have an advanced education in one of the STEM fields, despite the fact that it is anything but an essential, there are a couple of occupations that pay as much right out of school. Golf ball collector. Golf ball collector recovers the balls from all the arbitrary spots they can land, contingent upon the ability of the golf player. Gatherers scour the shrubberies and profound jump into counterfeit lakes after the game is finished, and it doesn't seem like it requires a ton of expertise to do it. Surprisingly, a considerable amount of ability is needed to be a fruitful golf ball collector, as they have to arrive at places that most others can't. In numerous nations around the globe, confronting hazardous creatures like crocs and venomous snakes is an aspect of the work, as well. That is the reason they're the absolute most generously compensated individuals on a green. Other than the rich individuals who play the game, of course, how much cash you can make relies upon the fairway and the amount you're paid per ball recovered. By and large, you can hope to make around $100,000 every year only for gathering golf balls. In case you're a decent jumper, that figure can be considerably higher. Crime scene cleaner. Regardless of where you live, you can be certain that somebody in your overall zone is violating the law as of now. Wrongdoing is one of only a handful, barely any constants in all human societies. Even in the event that we'd cease from considering wrongdoings and industry, individuals working around it, like investigators, cops, and wrongdoing writers, are typically generously compensated. All things considered, have you ever pondered who tidies up those wrongdoing scenes? A wrongdoing scene cleaner seems like a smudged, low-paying position. Truth be told, for what reason would somebody excitedly join to tidy up after the most noticeably awful senses of mankind? However, wrongdoing scene cleaners may frequently be paid significantly more than others we've just referenced in this list. If you have the stomach and, obviously, Aptitudes for it. Wrongdoing scene cleaners can undoubtedly win a six-figure compensation, or around $250 every hour. Precisely what those six figures are relies upon how long you've been doing it and the number of wrongdoings happen in the city where you work. Garbage specialist. A trash specialist is somebody who needs to manage the things you don't require any longer, from dismissed furniture to food extras. Because of the adaptability of things that make up our trash, it very well may be a gross task to take care of. All things being equal, trash specialists are the absolute most fulfilled laborers around. You infrequently observe them quit their positions. Thus, what gives? Hint. It's not on the grounds that they don't have different choices, it's the significant compensation. Income for a trash specialist can take off to as high as $80,000 every year and considerably more in case you're working in the posher zones of a major city. It's not as nauseating as it sounds, either. They have all the gear expected to abstain from dealing with the gross aspect of the trash. Thus, on the off chance that you were considering moving to a superior paying position, this may very well be another option in case you're willing. Dear Urine Farmer. In the event that you've ever been chasing in the US, you'd have gone over deer bait fragrances. They're utilized to conceal the particular human aroma to draw in creatures like elk and impala, as their feeling of smell is very pleasant. On the off chance that you thought the aromas were made of synthetic compounds, you'd not be right. It is difficult to trick those animals, so the baits are made with old-fashioned deer urine. Deer pea cultivating is a lucrative, just as shockingly explicit occupation that you likely had no clue existed. Besides, a couple people have the ability to do it, as deer tend to move around a ton and by and large make the assignment of gathering their pea difficult. The pea of jars sell for as high as $110 per gallon, and the pea of a prevailing buck goes for some place around $60. Roadkill Collector. In the motion pictures, smashing your vehicle into a creature is normally an awful sign that proposes a hazier turn of future functions. In any case, if we somehow manage to solicit you the number of from those mishaps you think occur in a year, you'd likely speculation, relatively few, as it's absolutely impossible either people or creatures are sufficiently stupid to get into that circumstance often. You'd be astonished to know then that the normal number of deer crashes, the most ordinarily hit animal in the US, is around 1.5 million of every a year. Roadkill authorities are the individuals who tidy up after those mishaps, as it's not really an occupation for an expert wrongdoing scene cleanup crew. Despite how exhausting and unexciting the employment may sound, a roadkill gatherer can acquire around $72,000 every year as long as he's working in a state with a moderate to high pace of roadkill. Insurance sales agent. Being an insurance sales agent invokes a picture of going way to entryway to make attempts to sell something and returning with nothing generally. Indeed, even famous motion pictures can't glamorize that field, and barely any individuals have what it takes needed to get by in deals. In the event that you do, you can wind up getting remunerated well. However, it'd in any case be an uncommon thing. That's just in case you're discussing the overall deals field, however. In the event that you investigate selling protection, it might simply wind up being the vocation you're looking for. The pay for a protection deals operator in the US goes from about $48,000 to $72,000, and that is only the cross-country normal. Protection deals specialists working in states like New York, North Dakota, and Massachusetts can expect a normal of around $70,000 and much higher for those with significant experience. That's on the grounds that protection is something that nearly everybody needs to purchase sooner or later, which implies the persuading part regarding the attempt to seal the deal has just been taken care of generally. Coal miner. Well-known fiction has worked superbly of depicting coal mining as that work you never need to do. It seems like the ideal arrangement for alarming things to occur, and it doesn't appear to be an employment that somebody would eagerly take on. Also, the lasting layer of coal dust in your body for the remainder of your life. All of that is just on the off chance that you accept films as an exact depiction of how things truly work. While it's natural that architects and specialists working in the coal business would be paid well, the excavators who work underground aren't excessively far down the rundown, either. On normal, underground coal diggers simply beginning with a normal of around $60,000 every year and around $85,000 with extra time. That is the lower cap for how much a coal mineshaft expert can procure. Chiefs in the mining business can procure as much as $200,000. Fisherman. Being an angler seems like such an employment you wouldn't do except if you didn't have some other choice. That might be valid, despite the fact that it relies upon what sort of fishing you're talking about. While some fish might be plentiful consistently, others just assemble in specific territories during certain seasons, and getting them is an exceptionally worthwhile vocation. On the off chance that you can get crabs, however, it might simply be extraordinary compared to other paying fishing occupations you can get. If you've ever gone to an eatery and asked why crab-based dishes are especially costly in spite of crabs being so obviously bountiful on the seashore, this is the explanation. Crabbing is an occasional occupation and conveys a ton of danger because of erratic climate conditions where crabs are typically found. The skipper of a crabbing pontoon can procure as much as $200,000 every year, and the group can expect around $50,000 for a 3-month working period. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like if you have any suggestions or if you have something for me to do. Please leave us a comment.